What product, unbeknownst to most people, has the highest markup? Back in the early 2000s, I was managing a restaurant. Garlic bread was selling for $3.95 and cost $0.07 to make. Not all food items are equal when it comes to margins. Flavored seltzers at a brewery. The beer costs 10x as much to make, but they charge almost the same at the tap. Glasses. Luxottica owns most major eyewear stores, costs them a few dollars to make and you pay hundreds for them. Back in the day, text messaging. Fountain soda. The entire reason fast food places want to sell you the meals is because they want to sell you a soda that costs 10 cents for 3. The margin on the rest of the food is more like 10-15, while fountain sodas are like 90. Soft drinks in pubs, especially the ones from the tap, costs pennies and they charge 3 for a pint of it. Probably the biggest earner in a pub. Caskets and pretty much anything for funerals. Funeral homes completely take advantage of people during the worst days of their lives. It's disgusting. The nuts and bolts section at your local big box hardware store is the highest markup aisle. 500 or more. If you need more than a few bolts, go shopping at a proper hardware supplier. The second cheapest bottle of wine on the menu. Mach 3 razors and Oral-B replacement brush heads. Candy floss cotton candy. For $0.99 for legitimately 10p worth of sugar. Those button batteries in store. They know you need one ASAP cause your car won't unlock, so you are stuck. Wait one day and you can get a dozen from Amazon for same price. Perfume. As a diabetic, I'm pretty sure it's insulin. I'm on 2 types and they are both well over $1 in Canada if I've gone over my allotted amount for the month. In the USA, probably over 200. Water. Breakfast has a pretty high profit margin at restaurants. Reptile and aquarium supplies. You can easily DIY some basic aquarium tools from Home Depot, like a vacuum hose. It's 5 minutes of research to convert a cartridge filter to reusable media. Many reptile supplies are actually plant products with a lizard logo slapped on it for 3x the price. Printer ink. If you paid 3 for a smart water, it's not working. Sodas. Many pizza places pretty much break even on pizzas and just make money on the extras. Wedding things. Diamonds. Movie theater popcorn concessions, but the popcorn in particular is an incredibly steep markup. Cut fruit at the produce department. Think about it. A watermelon is 5, let's say, and I could turn one watermelon into about 60 worth of cut produce. 100 paying out the butt for the convenience. Cosmetics in video games. I believe OW2 has made more profit off of cosmetics than the DLC and game. Screws and anchors for surgeries and joint replacements. Literally a 0.36 part that is sold to surgeons for thousands. Obviously sterilizing has an upcharge. But still. Ridiculous. Soft drinks. 3 cents to make. Think on that markup. Bottled water is like 4,000, jeans are high at like 1,000. I guess if you are in the US, insulin. Movie theater popcorn costs them about 0.07 a bag, or did 10-15 years ago, and that's including the bag. Fresh herbs at a grocery store. 4 or 5 for a tiny sprig of basil or rosemary, or more cilantro or parsley than you could eat in a year. Pizza Hut traditional wings. Furniture and mattresses. Sunglasses. Luxottica conglomerate owns most of the high-end sunglasses and have since moved into the prescription eyewear business. Sunglasses cost under $5 for the high end and they sell them for $300 on up. They nearly have a vertical monopoly by owning Pool Vision, IMED, Sears Optical, Onsite, Target Optical, and more. Plus, they own Sunglass Hut and restrict brands to only their own. Cards, like birthday, Christmas cards etc. They cost pennies to make. Sell carrier services. Some ridiculous multi-thousand markup we willingly pay per month. In the United States, medication. Your 30-day supply of one medication is probably buying 2,000 or 3,000 count bottles for the pharmacy. Vaporizers surprisingly has a 100 or more markup in my country. Even more so car keys, it costs me anywhere from $5 to $15 and I sell them for $150 to $250, granted I have to buy the equipment, maintain the van, pay for gas and other expenses. But if we're just looking at profit margin on its own, it's crazy. Insulin costs $5 to produce per vial but costs hundreds of dollars and is a life or death medication. In the US? Cars. There is an entire industry of very well-paid people in between you and the company that actually manufactures the vehicles. If you could just buy a truck direct from Ford without the entire dealership industry getting a taste, you'd be paying far less. Prescription lenses. Cost cents yet they charge hundreds. Golf clubs. I worked in a very specialized field where a large high-end golf manufacturer contracted me to do work. Part of my job required them to disclose to the penny what their items cost to produce. The markup was around $7,500. Keep in mind there are engineering costs associated that I didn't see, and I'm sure that's a decent chunk of change. This was simply the cost to produce an iron vs what it sells for. Still insane to see, especially since the inventory I was working with was getting destroyed for tax money purposes. Made me sad. Liquor. Often it's literally the same liquid just in a different bottle. One bottle can cost 2 or 3 times as much as the other. And weirdly enough, people will say the more expensive one tastes better despite it being the exact same product. Look at the label. If it says bottled in as opposed to distilled in, it's probably the same mass-produced garbage that you could get in a much cheaper bottle. Makeup and skincare. There's a reason why so many celebrities are getting into it and partnering with larger conglomerates like LVMH and Huda. You can achieve great pricing power and results with minimal advertising spend. The profit margin is somewhere around 90 and more, and it's a replenishable good which makes recurring revenue easier to come by. One of the few items where you can't saturate a market by selling volume and still pull a very hefty margin. Coffins. I would say movie theater soda, but everyone knows that. Printing ink. Sex toys from Romantic Depot. You could buy the same products online for $1.4 on Amazon. Internet. Cost to providers is pennies. The main costs are at time of installation. Equip install near full profit after 3 months. Medication. Newborn babies. Pre-packaged ice. Goes along the same lines as water but it's worse. Vac systems. That 10K central unit. About 700 wholesale. Mini splits are even cheaper. About 450 for a system. Lots of people here don't understand the value chain. Gross margins are not the price cost to make, gross margins are the price cost to sell. Lots of very costly things happen to a product between when a thing is made and when a consumer pays, picks it up and walks away with it. Bottled water. They literally buy it for cents per 1,000 liters yet sell it for $1 per 600 milliliters. Even if you count the cost of the bottle and bottling, which is spread over the tens of thousands of bottles done every hour, it doesn't add that much to the cost. Diamonds and mattresses. Movie theater popcorn. Premium branded peanuts. My cousin works quality control at a peanut factory. They slap a label for cheap generic peanuts on the conveyor for a while. Then stop the conveyor, put the premium label on and continue. Exact same peanuts. Medical care. Water. Whiskey. The packaging costs the distillery more than the liquid normally. Inkjet ink. The margin on pancakes is insane. Partly deaf person here, hearing aids. 6,000 every 5-6 years. I have healthcare in Canada and they don't cover them. Coffee, really expensive beans, say £20, will brew 2.5 gallons of coffee with a pound of beans. 12-ounce coffee is 5, and you get 10 per gallon. 20 of premium beans can easily be sold for $8.10 for a 12-ounce cup. So 250 with 20 retail of coffee. In restaurants, we paid more like £3 and sold it for $6.8 per cup. 3 of beans makes 150 of coffee. Espresso is even worse. 10 for a latte, use 0.05 of coffee to